Hey y'all, Frances here with part 2 of my last Temu haul video. Since my first Temu haul, people have been asking how I'm storing all of this stuff, where am I keeping it, and the short answer is, everywhere. You're gonna see coming up here later in the video, a lot of my boxes are thrifted. I've tried the bigger, more expensive storage systems, and they don't work well for me. I need small boxes, and thrifting was the answer for me. At the end of the video, I'll do kind of a brief tour to show you where everything landed, because since I shot that video, it's in bits and pieces over a couple of weeks. Since I've shot it, some of the things have already moved. So, it's a very fluid process. That's the word that we're using. My only piece of advice is when you're storing stuff, be sure to put a lid on it, because this box isn't on my desk to show you this nice orderly box. This box is on my desk because all of these things were in this box, and this box didn't have a lid on it. And I went to pick it up and move it, and I dropped everything on the floor. So I tried to do a talking video where I was putting this all in the box, and I can't talk and do things at the same time, apparently. So my advice from Aunt Frances to you, put a lid on it. You can thank me later. If you watched my last Temu haul video, I had ordered a bunch of nail supplies, kind of like nail art, whatever you want to call them. And I started experimenting on that video and quickly realized that it needed to be a video in and of itself. The scraps will eventually make their way into Chuck. That video will probably be the next one that you see because it's already done. I've been waiting to get this one out into the world before I moved on. Just got all my little people here, trying to store like with like. I feel like if I ever need to get into this box, it's going to turn into an event, but that's okay. I got these container thingies from Tuesday Mornings, which the one here is closing down, so I'm super sad because they've got a lot of great stuff there craft-wise. However, these aren't bad, but as I was putting them together, the tabs did not want to go into the slots, and I ended up pulling one of them off. I had to get like a pliers out to pull it through because it was killing my fingers. But they'll work for their intended purpose. The bags that these little shelf thingies slide into are pretty tight, pretty snug, so I think they'll be fine for storage purposes. Once it's in there, it's not going anywhere. After the flooding event of 2022 and everything had been removed from my craft room, before I started putting things back in, I really wanted to try and do it better than I had it before. Everything was just kind of where it needed to go in the moment, but I wanted to be more intentional about how I was storing stuff. So I watched some videos, and in the end, I didn't really do what they were doing because, when you're organizing things and storing things, it's very fluid. Some of the things that I've put away in this video have already changed from how they were filmed in this video. So, hopefully you can get something out of this. If nothing else, just kind of learning how to sort through your chaos. As I was kind of sitting there trying to decide how to put things back together, I really tried to look at how I craft. And I kind of decided that inspiration comes from piles. I love piles. If I have things around me, I'm constantly grabbing things and doing them with them. However, piles also equal chaos. So in an effort to try and not bury myself at the same time, I put it away. But I also think I have an issue with object permanence because once it's put away, I forget that it exists, and then I have to go buy more. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm hoping that the way that I've kind of arranged things will help me be able to access things. So everything, when you pull one thing down, 7 things don't come with it. So that's one thing that I did differently. My brain just kind of is like a squirrel in traffic trying to juggle everything sometimes. So I just need to find my own kind of way here. You know, one thing I do need to do is stay away from the thrift store because in addition to the tubs of stamps that I am pulling out in this video, as you will see in the first video, I found stamp books, and prior to that, I found another tub of stamps. I've started putting, like, when I have duplicates, and I'm not talking about one or two, I'm talking about like dozens of duplicates, I've been storing those in a place where once I hit a certain number of subscribers that I haven't decided yet what that number will be, I'm going to start doing giveaways. So I've started kind of amassing those things in a spot also. Just that was my dog. It's time for sleeping. She had to stretch. Anyways, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, kind of storing things for giveaways. So some of this will stay in there. Some of it's already made its way to a holding space until it finds its new home. Maybe with some of you guys, because I can't say no to stamps. There are so many stamps, and it's too much. I also started kind of just taking a little pinch of this or that as I'm putting things away. I have a little divided basket next to me, or next to where I craft, that I kind of put them. That way I'll have some things at hand so I can still have a little bit of a pile, but at the same time, it's not caving in on me. So I'm kind of curious to see how that will work. That's something I just recently did. Like some of these tickets that I got, I have a little thing for them to go in, so I at least know what I've got down there, and I'm not just buying more. I've got some at hand, and I know that I've got them where I can kind of restock my little basket. I've tried making a book with where you kind of put your ephemera in and stuff with cute little pockets, and for me they didn't super work just because I have so much. I just felt like I needed to put everything in there, and then I'd open it and things would fall out, and it was a mess. I didn't even want to get them out because I felt like I was constantly just, putting things in different little pockets and never really using them. So it wasn't really much different than when I had them kind of all together on a shelf or whatever. Maybe someday I'll go back to it. Maybe that's just what I need to do instead of having my little basket of goodies next to me. However, then I don't think to open the little book, so it's an object permanence thing. They fail to exist. So just need to buy more, right? I just had to take a recording break because my throat suddenly got very dry and I started not being able to talk. And then I immediately dumped half a bottle of water all over myself. So that was super fun. Anyways, this little mass of papers that I was just dealing with isn't in that container anymore. That's something that's moved. You kind of see it's different there. I'll show you at the end how I ended up arranging them. These are just foil things that don't belong over here. And then there was some wax seals that don't belong over here. I end up putting my little stamp collection there. There's an empty box so that I can put all of my newly acquired stamps into. Then I've got this container that consists of photo storage boxes. I end up putting kind of just, numbers, labels, that kind of thing in there when I've got a full kit of like papers. You've seen some of them in my previous hauls, hopefully, to know what I'm talking about, but just like a full kit of like journaling paper stuff. I try and keep those together, and then I put them in the front of this basket too. This is another thing I think that I am going to reorganize, just because today I actually went thrifting again and I found a Wonder Woman lunchbox, and it is so amazing. I love it. So I think all of my labels, my little like number labels and stuff, are gonna have to go in there. This is where I keep some of my metal, like little bits and bops. I really kind of like how it looks. I keep all of my eyelets and clips and like replacement blades and things like that right there, so they're at hand. Then there's washi storage. This has been an ongoing battle. I start arranging them by color and all of that here, and I immediately flipped to how I changed it because I hate this. Everything kept falling over. If I stand them up, it's a nightmare. So I'm putting them kind of in a flat layer on the bottom, all of the like by color, and then by like pattern and boxes on top of them. Hopefully you can kind of see what I did here. So here is the bookcase that we are working with, basically. I'm going to put you back in my phone holder because as someone with severe motion sickness, I just tried to shoot this while I was holding the camera and it was a nightmare. Let me zoom in a little bit and get you in a holder. In our first box here, I've got, these are like the tiny papers. A lot of that kind of vellum-y type paper. Some of this is Temu, some of it's stuff I've had otherwise. It's really hard to hold this in film. I didn't realize how hard this video would be. Then I've got like some tickets and stuff down there. And here is just some jewelry boxes I got from the thrift store. A lot of like butterfly fussy cuts and stickers and that kind of thing. This is going to have to be redone because not all of this stuff fits in here right. But for now, that's where it's going to stay. This is just a overflow sticker storage thing. It's one of those cases that has like 8 or 10 of the little like storage boxes in it. I like it and I hate it because it doesn't fit anywhere in my room, but this is what we've got. This is where I keep all of my words and little like sayings, Tim Holtz books, that kind of thing. And then down here is where I keep my slightly larger paper, not scrapbook size paper. That lives somewhere else. It's slightly smaller, a lot of like off-cut looking things, ledger type stuff. I got this from Dollar Tree and I love it. It's one of those collapsible boxes. However, I can't do Dollar Tree anymore because it's a minimum of $1.25, and a lot of the stuff that I want that they have now is like $3 or $5, and it's like that's not a deal anymore. So I don't do Dollar Tree a lot anymore. I used to do it weekly, but hardly ever anymore. This is just where I keep like my kits of stuff, like this kind of kit. I like to keep it together. I've got a video series coming on those. If you're interested, stay tuned. Super excited about that. This is also, this needs to be put away. But this is where Chuck and my scrap fabric live, in there. Then over here, we've got die cuts in this tea box. And then under that, we've got beads and buttons and little metal elements, that kind of thing. Whoops. That's why I don't pull things out, because then everything falls. And then under that is more stickers. Let me move you down a little bit. Okay, so here we've got our postage stamps, both real and fake. Here we've got this thingy that I had some like labels and tags in, and this is gonna be a disaster, so this isn't gonna stay like this either. So far that's 2 things I need to redo. Then over here we've got photos. These are some digitals. These are just like wings that digital wings that I had printed. Here's some mail, some old mail. And then here's where I keep my photo strips from yearbooks and my miniature people. Here are the postcards that I showed in a previous thrift haul, and then here are the photos I showed from a previous thrift haul. So kind of all of my people stuff in one little box here. Then down here we've got our tags, or not tags, I guess tickets and receipts. These are like the ticket strips. And then these are like the ticket, that giant roll that I had earlier. Oh, you can't see it, sorry. The giant roll of tickets that I had earlier, I just cut a strip off of that. And another one that I've got. The giant roll lives somewhere else, and then these just kind of sit nicely in this box here. Here's the box I was reassembling on my desk. And then these are just binders. This has digitals that still need to be fussy cut, or they're whole pages and I just haven't processed them yet. These are more similar to just, you know, digitals. I think that's some like Tim Holtz stuff in there. Sorry, you can barely see it, but if I lift it, the pages are going to fall forward and things are going to fall out. And then that last one is just where I keep like my letters that I cut out of magazines and stuff to glue book and collage with. And then I'm going to move over to the stamp area here. I'm going to turn you off. I have to hold my phone, so I'm going to make this part real quick. These are stamps. I got that container from Tuesday Mornings. I wish I could have found another one, but they only had one. And they're closed now, so I don't know. Surely I will go on somehow. This is where I keep all of my dies, and behind that I have like a whole thing of like Tim Holtz stuff. I used the packaging from my little label maker. It worked perfectly. So keep your eye out for packaging that comes up in your life. Down here we've got stencils and stamps, that kind of thing. This is where most of my stencils live, the normal sized ones. I just keep them in photo albums. And then the oversized stuff for now just kind of sits in a pile because it's better than it was before, trust me. And then over here is just where I keep all of my excess overflow storage. This is in a closet, so that's all I've got in terms of extra space, I guess. So that's where it lives. And then lastly, we have this monstrosity. It works well, but this is what I'm talking about, store-bought purchased storage options. While technically it does work, let me put you down real quick. technically it does work. I mean, it holds everything. This is where my washi's at. This is where I have my kind of like pages and stuff I can glue book on real quick, or just roll off a brayer or whatever. Keep all of my punches and stuff in there. However, I hate the way that it looks. I hate everything about it, and I need to get this out of here because it feels like it's caving in on me. It's a problem, but it's very useful, and I already had it from something else I was storing, and I'm no longer storing, so this is my current battle. It's very functional, but I hate where it exists, and I don't have anywhere else in my room where I can put it, so it's kind of the bane of my existence right now, which I guess is a good problem to have, but it's still a problem nonetheless. Well, with that, I think I'm going to let you go. I hope that you've somewhat enjoyed this video. It's been kind of a cluster, but sometimes that's just how my brain works. Trying to get all of this together in a way that makes sense, I thought it would be a lot easier than it is, but it isn't easy at all. Kudos to people that can make videos and like still move around and not be in them, because I am not that person.